I left my family. I left my kids.
How frequent is the violence?
It's jail's always violent. I mean,
Like-
you know, like listen, if you
How
have
many times a week are you getting into a fight?
me myself,
Yeah.
no, not that. I mean, I got into listen. I'm a little different. I think the average. I'm always fighting. I was in Fairton. I fought there. I went to Allenwood. I fought there a couple of times. I went to.
Is it you instigating usually?
Nah, it's usually me sticking up for somebody else, actually. So Fairton was me sticking up for another guy. The guy, Jackie D'Norcio, had a fight with Louis Ricchia, who just passed away. And Bobby Brooksy, who was another guy whose father hung around for years. And he was having a problem with him. And I tried to step in and stop it. And then they sent me messages from the street to jump in. So I jumped in for that one. So that's me helping out. McKeon was incidents with, it's going to be in my book. We talk about Ali Calabrese, who we hurt, one of the acting underbosses in Chicago. I end up slapping him, putting him in the snow. And so he's another guy. He opened his mouth. He was, a lot of these guys, they think that position's going to help them. And, they run into wrong guys. They get hit. They get knocked out. No one gives a shit, especially in jail. And if you're really from the street, you ain't let nobody talk to you like that. So the guy went from my friend to become my enemy, and he just talks stupid. And I don't get no props for hurting him. At the time, he was 50 years old, was 35 years old. I didn't even want to hit him. But, these guys, the incident with Joe Gambino and then Ali Calabrese, we hurt him bad. And basically, he never recovered from it, and he dies. But, they bring him up in The Irishman. He was around Tommy Sanito, who was a gentleman, was like captain in Cleveland. Then I heard he became the acting boss or acting underboss in Cleveland in those days. But he was a gentleman. Tommy was there with us. So these are things that go on. I mean, this is jail. Things jump off over nothing, and you go from a peaceful week to all of a sudden a lot of violence. And that's just every day in prisons.
Sounds like your best, the best outlet, both emotionally, physically, everything was handball or, some kind of physical exercise.
We run a lot. I love to run. Well, I did like to run. And, I'd put in 5-7 miles a day. Wow. And, so we'd run, play handball, work out, burpees all day. Like I said, depending on the prison, we were doing 2,000 burpees.
Insane. So
we do them straight usually as a group.
Stretching
of us.
After? You must feel like your body must be in shambles.
I didn't really stretch. Everybody said you got to stretch. I was a lazy bastard when it comes to stretching. Thought it was a waste of time. I'd do a lot of pull-ups. We used to do a routine, 3 or 4 guys. You do 10, 15 pull-ups. You get down, you do 25 push-ups. You get down, you do sit-ups, you do squats, you do dips, and then we'd circuit 3 or 4 guys at a time, and we keep doing the same thing.
Did you feel like your time over, all the time that you did, ended up going pretty quickly?
It depends on what's going on in your life, and that's why I tell kids, it's not the time that kills you. It's the family stuff that kills you. The stress. My uncle that was like my father passed away when I was there. He had a heart attack. I lived with him in California. My grandfather got sick. My grandmother got sick. And then later on, my father, different bits, they got sick. My kids you're not seeing. My son broke his fever at the time. He was in a body cast. I wasn't home at first. I wasn't home when my middle son, Johnny, was born. I came the next day. So, missing everything with your family and the serious, some of the cancer people in my family got, my sons. And mother got sick, and they say wife or common law, whatever. Everybody's always got something different. But we have kids for 30 years, 30-something years, put together 40 years, and so when she got sick, these things are devastating. So those are the things that make time go slow or very stressful. Not the actual time in jail. Time sucks, but you make the best of it because you have no choice. But you ain't going nowhere.
You ever thinking about like, I have this amount of time left, or?
Yeah, you try not to do that.
The last months must go pretty slow, no? When you know you're close?
Yeah, you start, because everybody has the message, you try not to do it, you start thinking about, I'm short. But the biggest thing is when you're in jail, and there's people that are out there that have been in prison, you're always waiting to get indicted again.
Really?
Always. Because there's
like
murders that were involved. There's RICO cases, there's guys flipping, you're not doing easy, like just relaxed time. Some guys do because they know they never did shit. But the guys that are out there that are violent, guys like, I've talked about like Tabita, say. Anthony's a good friend of mine. These guys have serious cases. So they know things are looming over your head. You're never going to lay down and relax. You know, when they picked me up in Allenwood with the sperm thing, when I was on the compound, they locked me up for almost a year in a hole. And I hired lawyers to find out. And my message back, legal letter from the Institute was, we can't divulge the investigation if it's internal or external because it compromises the investigation. So in other words, you know, fuck you, we're not telling you. So you're sitting in the hole saying, all right, I killed a fucking million people. I shot, killed. I got involved in robberies. I mean, who knows what you're going to get? Life sentence and you're in solitary confinement. That makes it difficult because you don't know when you're getting out. So, you know, even when you sign that agreement, you say, okay, you know, I'm ready to, you know, end this stuff with this life. You don't know when you're getting out. You know, nobody tells you that. So your life in jail is stressful because you don't have a number and say, okay, I'm getting out and it's over.
Did you ever feel or like were 100% certain that you would never be free again?
Oh yeah, you always feel that because so many guys are ratting. I mean, think about when I was in Brazil Penitentiary. I don't want to cooperate. Obviously, I left. I was willing to give up all my money and property because nobody would have did that, and go on a run to protect my enemies. And they're all cooperating. They're all meeting the government. They're all making deals. You know, they're making excuses why they're meeting them. You know, these are ridiculous things. You know, like I always say, you know, oh, I only slept with her because I made a mistake. I mean, what is that? You went in and you're talking to the government. You're at.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting in those penitentiaries, I'm saying, oh, I'm done. When the list of made guys, we're all cooperating, and Junior Gotti is cooperating, and you're sitting there saying, oh, I'm finished here. These guys know I did all the work here.
What's that like for you, like when you're, I guess, having those conversations with yourself, like, I'm finished? Like, what is it like a suicidal thought? Is it
Nah, you know, no.
It's just like...
It's escape thought. That's why I was fighting to stay in Brazil penitentiaries, because you're able to make a move, and we tried to escape on a regular basis. We were trying everything because it's, you know, you can bribe there.